Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. We got all of the technical stuff worked out. It is 6:01. We have Rami here. Rami, how's it going, buddy?
A24, an independent film company to where the DOF and PDCAs love to jizz all over. Yet, I'm not one of those people. The title explains itself. Hate it or love it. Jared is on the side who loves it. And out of the 25 to 30 films that I've seen from assholes 24/7, why do I call them that? We'll get to that shortly. Only 6 films I can say that are good. The rest is either mediocre, pretentious, boring, or just asinine garbage. A24 fans, please share the hate to me, and I know a place where you can share it. It's called my butthole. Mr. Jared! Good sir, please introduce us to what we are about to endure.
Well, guys, that was an excellent introduction for A24. Not one that I agree with because I am one of those people who love this studio. So, to give you guys a bit of background, A24 is, I could probably fairly reasonably say that it is my favorite studio. This is the studio that has produced many of my absolute favorite films. And a studio that is actually produced a lot of critically acclaimed films and have given a lot of indie directors, indie actors a real launching point for their career and a real chance to show their talents. And that's why I love that studio. And Rami might disagree with me, but great to have him on here. And I'm sure we're going to have a great chat. I'm going to give Jerome a chance to introduce himself here. I don't know if you guys all know Rami, but honestly, one of the biggest names, I think, outside of YouTube in film criticism. He hates YouTube so much that he doesn't have a channel, but
I kind of do, but I don't like Google because of their bullshit. For example, setting this shit up.
Yeah, this was way harder than it needed to be, honestly. And now, like, everybody is on the other thing, and it's busted. So, anyways, hopefully everybody finds their way over here. But yeah, Rami, tell us what you do, dude. What are your shows? What type of stuff are you on?
Yes, it kind of started a long time ago with my boy A90, where we did wrestling reviews and such, which translated to me knowing the Putnam crew. And most of the videos I do is either with A90 or Alexander the Great. And Austin Putnam, his brother, or Austin Putnam's channel, or I should say, Jared's Gare Bear. Oh, by the way, you know what Gary said before I came on? He said, "Oh, so you're doing a video, huh?" He goes, "Well, Jerome, stay away from him. He's mine."
It's a little weird, to be honest, but.
And also, LC Muscles. I always make fun of him. Him and I and Shane O'Mac did a show called Pain and Gain. We did 100 episodes. It's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
It's just random discussions, and it's got some of the funniest bits you'll ever see. And then a spinoff of that show, Flicks with the Dicks, a show that Gary and I started, and then we adapted Brett into the show about 10 to 15 episodes in, and we're on to episode 64.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Long running.
And I know a good amount of people from here and there, and I'm also in the Rotten or Fresh tournament. To
Awesome.
where
you're crushing it in there.
Crushing it is one thing, to where I'm going to have massive ass trophies for everyone I'm about to endure. Okay? So that is where I'm coming from, and I'm mostly known for my rants, especially for Fist Fight, the rant that Gary and I did, which is around 42 to 43,000 views. Also did a rant on Mother. Also did a rant on Ice Age 5, The Hottie and the Naughty. Probably my most famous video.
Romy, here's the real question. Is Hottie or the Naughty worse than Mother, or is Mother worse?
Okay, no. The Hottie or the Naughty is without question the worst movie of all time.
Yeah. Okay.
Of all time.
I just wanted you to say Mother because that would have been funny. But anyways, whatever.
Oh, well, that movie can go burn in the devil's asshole because that movie is garbage.
It's the Bible.
No, it's the Bible told by an atheist in the most deplorable, pretentious way possible. I'm not joking. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, I've never seen it. So.
Oh, yeah, and what they do to a baby at the end, yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
That's
yeah,
rough.
it was not only my worst film of the year, but many other people's worst. And it's one of only 3 films of the 1,000 films I've seen this decade I gave a -1 to.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard to drop a -1, but sometimes you got to do it. All right, so let's get into A24 here, man. But thank you for the introduction. If you guys haven't seen Flicks with the Dicks or any of the other shit that Jerome does, go watch that stuff. It's fun stuff. Catch them. When can they catch Flicks? Every Sunday, tomorrow, sometime.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. I love Napoleon Dynamite. Is that a Liger? A24. Now, people will be like, oh, of course you have to bring Jerome on here because he's like one of the biggest haters I know. There are some films that I have praised. Actually, some that I had on my best of the year list. But why is that? Simple. Because those films don't come off like it was made by assholes 24/7. And why do I call them that? Here is why. When marketing It Comes at Night, A24 Studios had to produce a tweet that made him the biggest fucking assholes on the planet. Saying, hey, if you're a true movie fan, you can go out and watch It Comes at Night, unlike them pieces of shit superhero films and sequels. I was just like, hey, buddy, War for the Planet of the Apes and Wonder Woman. Yeah, how well did they do? Need I say more, assholes? And the thing about A24 is that I have never seen a movie company where it's so polarizing. And if, yeah, sure, they might get some credit here and there by critics. Look at the audience ratings. They are plummeting. Look at The Witch. Look at It Comes at Night. Look at Hereditary. I hate that fucking movie. Look at A Boar Story.
Some of those I skipped, gotta say.
God. Okay. Oh, hold that thought. Okay, here we go. Speaking of a ghost story, and by the way, I saw some people on Twitter. They said this. People say that if a ghost story is pretentious, that just means that you're pretentious. I wish I was making that up. Or one person said, if you think it's pretentious, that just means you don't know what the meaning of the word is. And guess what? I gave him the definition. He didn't say nothing back.
Yeah.
Folks, you want to see what the movie Ghost Story is? Watch this. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is 90 to 95% of the whole film. Watch this. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. Watch.
Oh, get ready to be scared, guys.
Here we go. Ready?
Oh, I'm scared now.
Watch this. It's like this.
Oh, dude, I'm so scared now that you did that. Show me. You're scaring everybody. You're scaring the people.
He didn't make noises in this, by the way. That's it. That's the whole movie. There's an 8-minute scene where a bitch comes in a house and she's checking her mail, doing the dishes, and she eats a fucking pie until she throws up. It goes on for 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's one I skipped. That's one I skipped. But I'm going to be on the other side of this debate here, dude. I know that you're not a fan of this studio. So far, you have critiqued some of the movies. I think that a lot of your beef with this studio, though, is more about the marketing behind these films and maybe some of the fans of these films.
I call the fans the A24
more than the films themselves. But
oh my God.
I am a huge fan of a lot of these movies, particularly Ex Machina. That is a film that I loved. We're going to talk about a bunch of these movies in detail, but just to give you guys some bit of an introduction, yeah, that's one that me and Romy can actually agree on. One that we do not agree on is The Witch. I give this movie like a 15 out of 10. Like, I love this movie. This is one of my favorite horror movies. and a lot of people will come at me and be like, I don't like this movie, but I gotta defend it. Like The Witch, just the natural lighting and everything, and we'll go into detail later. But The Witch I loved.
You know what?
Um,
You know what?
and yeah, just as I said, a company that's putting out these movies that you wouldn't otherwise see, like a movie that you love, which is Locke, which cost
Oh, I love it.
$2 million. What other studio is going to put any kind of marketing or any kind of buzz behind a movie like that? That's concept is that it's shot in a car. Like that's why we need studios like A24. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later because we all love our superhero films as well. Like let's be real here. It's okay.
Oh
to
yeah,
love
for all you fuckers are like, oh, I swear to God, I don't like the A24 fuck nuts. That's what I call this goddamn, toxic fan base. You'd be like, oh, go back to Marvel. Guess what? I will, because they're better. Ass wipes.
Well, that Marvel has some okay movies, but nothing,
Right.
nothing nearly as good as Killing of a Sacred Deer. But
fuck that movie.
All right, so we're gonna get into some different categories for these movies here. I've actually taken these films and I've taken the liberty of breaking them down into categories here. So we're going to be doing the first category, which is movies that are too weird. So that's movies where I'm kind of going to agree with you on most of these, Romy, that these are weird movies that both of us probably don't like. Too weird for me. We've got another category called okay films, which is movies that probably we're both going to like. We might have a bit of contention in here. I think maybe one of your favorites I accidentally put in here. We might have to raise that one up the scales a little bit. The third category is going to be movies that are just weird enough for Jared. So The Witch is definitely going to fall in that category. Killing of a Sacred Deer.
When I saw The Witch,
those weird
the first
movies.
thing I said?
We'll get into it. Just let me finish the categories, please. And then the last one's going to be great films, which is movies like Ex Machina that both of us are loving. So what? Your quick thing about The Witch, though, about seeing it. What was that?
The first time I saw The Witch, that scene where you can barely see her and she's like, oh, because she takes the baby, right? This is my first reaction when I saw The Witch. I was watching this, and this is what I said. Nice tits. I'm not joking.
Well, then you got a different type of enjoyment.
Oh, well, that and the ending, which made me laugh my ass off unintentionally.
Anyway, The Witch is awesome. First category, we're talking movies that are too weird. I'm putting Tusk on there. I like Kevin Smith as like a person. I like his kind of online presence. I like that he's a big part of nerd culture. I was super upset when I found out that he was having like heart troubles and stuff like that. He ended up losing a fuckload of weight. He's looking thin like Gary now. And
he's about as skinny as an Olsen twin.
Yeah, pretty close, man. He's looking like Paris Hilton out here. And yeah, Justin Long, I mean, he's good in some stuff. He's in like Jeepers Creepers or whatever. But yeah, are you agreeing with me on that one, dude? It's too weird. We call him that one.
That's what I say about Tusk. I can see where he was going with this. It was like a mix. It had a mix of like a Human Centipede vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kills this movie is Johnny Depp. Wow, when his character showed up, the movie dropped dead.
Yeah, Johnny Depp is pretty bad in general these days.
Oh, well, I mean, look at him in Black Mass or Finding Neverland. Do more films like that.
Yeah, he can do some good stuff, I guess, but I don't know. He's past.
Oh yeah, Tusk. It's just like I'm just watching. I'm just like, what in the holy fuck am I watching? This is some ridiculous, stupid shit.
Yeah, I watched like a few seconds of this and then turned it off. Honestly, like I couldn't even get through it. Sorry to my boy Kevin Smith, but like sometimes you just don't have the fucking patience, for something.
Well, this originally started when he was talking on his podcast, and he said, like, if you want me to make this movie, I will.
Yeah.
And because he was going over it on his show, and that's the thing with A24 that I don't like. They're so fucking weird that it just disgusts me.
Sometimes they can be too weird. Is anything else on Tusk, man? We don't like it.
We pretty much covered it. Yeah,
we don't like it.
Yeah, all I gotta think is a guy becoming a walrus.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
becomes the walrus.
And we're not talking about the
Yeah.
song.
No, not even that. All right, Swiss Army Man. This is another one that
Oh,
I
fucking hate that movie. God damn it.
this is another one that I put on for a few seconds, and I was like, nope, this is going to be way too weird. From what I've heard about it that I looked up after, it doesn't really seem like one that I would have wanted to check out. Usually I try to give a movie a chance. Sometimes I just put on something where if it's just not clicking with me at all and I can't find anything to be entertained by in it, then I will just give another movie a shot, and especially in this Netflix day of age, like where you fucking don't need to watch stuff that you don't want to watch. I've heard that like
Oh my God.
I don't know, he like farts in his mouth or something,
Okay.
and he's a raft. I don't know. You've seen
Okay.
this entire movie?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
This
Bring it.
guy is about. Okay. This guy's about to commit suicide until a corpse wash ups on shore, played by Harry Potter himself, and he farts nonstop to where he gets on his back and his fart is like a jet and he escapes off the island. I'm not making this up, folks. He is a talking corpse who can puke out pure, clean, purified drinking water. His fucking penis is, when it gets an erection, it's used as a compass to direct him to direct towards society so he can get out of the forest. I'm not making this up. And they use farts as metaphors.
Sounds great.
I fucking despise. A lot of people had this on their best of the year list. This was on Lucas's and I worst. This was if Happy Madison Fucktard Productions made a movie, it would be Swiss Army Man. I despise.
Like if they
it.
tried to make a dramatic movie, you mean?
Yes, I'm just. Yeah. And there's a scene where a guy in drag was about to make out with a talking corpse.
Fuck.
No, A24, no. I hated this movie so much. Oh, then again, I hate most of their shit, so that's why I'm here. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to watch this. There's a sequence to where he scares a bear away because he was attacking his buddy, where the corpse goes over by the fire, rips a big fart, and it creates like this huge napalm flame, and it scares the bear away.
Dude,
am I supposed to take this shit seriously?
Do you have a chat that I can't see, Rami? What chat are you reading?
Oh, okay. You got to go into your the video.
You have to go to the. Kidding me?
Well, and the live chats, you can pop out the live chat. That's how I did it.
Holy fuck!
I sent you the link in the group chat.
But who can fucking do this? Oh my god! I got one screen. Fuck me. Oh well, whatever. That's what it's gonna be then, eh? All right, fine. Fuck. Okay. Okay. What about the Lobster?
More ridiculous. Hey, movie Mation. How you doing, buddy? The Lobster. This movie, you got to find a wife, or else you're fucked. You're gonna be turning it. You're gonna turn into a. Who the fuck comes up with this shit?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like real life, I guess.
How? No one would turn you, son of a bitch. No one would turn into a goddamn animal. This ain't Alter Beast, the video game. Oh, can we talk about 8th grade and how awful it was? Fuck yeah.
We'll probably get into that one at some point. Are we going to put that in too weird? It's not just too weird, right?
No, 8th grade's not too weird. No, The Lobster is weird. I was just like, what the fuck am I watching here? I was like, this is ridiculous, stupid shit. And I love it when people defend it like, oh, it's symbolism. It's all metaphors and hidden messages. I go by face value. Sorry. I go by face value, how entertaining and how engaging the movie is with all of its qualities. Okay? I don't go by hidden metaphors or none of that bullshit. Because you know what the definition of a metaphor is? It's an underlying message to where it's not entirely applicable. So the definition of the word itself means it's bullshit.
Well, to me, like, obviously, sometimes the like theme and stuff like that a director is doing isn't always that intentional. But when it comes to like analyzing and enjoying movies, I think it's one of the most important things about film. But maybe we have a different opinion on that as well.
Oh yeah, Barry. Me and Gary and I went over that on Flicks. Go ahead.
So speaking of having a different opinion on things, we're getting into the okay section. I'm gonna give you a little bit of room here. I might take one of your favorite movies out of the okay section, and we'll throw it in the great section, I guess. But you're gonna have to concede that we're putting Locke in the okay film section.
Oh, that
So,
breaks.
Romy, this I know
Oh,
it's a movie that you really love, dude, but
I had on my 10 best.
I watched it last night. Like the guy I was watching it with fell asleep, and like I was just invested enough to finish it.
You're probably thinking, why, Jerome, did you like this movie? It's only a guy talking on his phone for 90 minutes. Here's
Yeah.
why. Number one, Tom Hardy's performance. It's one of his best performances. Uh, it's one of the best. I would agree, Seeker. It's one of his best performances I've ever seen. Number two, yeah, it's only him talking on his phone, but how engaging it is, what the situations he's getting in, what's going to happen next, why is he doing the things he's doing, and it's just like it grips you, and you're trying to thinking, oh my god, can it get any worse or any more chaotic? And it does, and it deals with his family, it deals with his work, it deals with why he's going towards the destination that he's going. And this is insane. And I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next. It was just brilliant. And this all took place in one location. That's what made it even more.
Yeah, the fact that the entire thing happens in the car, that was definitely something that was interesting. And I've seen, like I told you about when we were discussing this, I've seen a movie try this before, which is Wheelman, Netflix original movie. And honestly, I think that Wheelman is better, but there's parts of that movie where he gets out of the car a bit. It's like probably 92% car. But I thought that that movie had quite a bit like more interesting cinematography. They shot the car in a more interesting way, and they actually had some different environments. This is just the highway, and it's just mostly shots of the interior of the car. There's like a few external shots and a few crane shots and stuff like that, but not very much. This movie only cost $2 million to make. So I understand that they didn't have every resource in the world here, but still with Locke here, I mean, they do set up a pretty good story, and it is pretty interesting. But again, I just thought that this whole film was building to something. Like I thought he was maybe going to fall asleep and die, or maybe like something was going to happen, and it was just kind of like it was like real life. But like I don't watch a movie for real life.
I don't either.
I got
I
my
hate
own
those
fucking problems. Like I'll talk about like shit on the phone with somebody and get stressed about it in my life. So I don't want to really watch a movie about that. But I
But
thought it was okay. I liked
but
it.
it was engaging to see the situations that he was
It
dwelling in
was.
and why
It
he got
was.
himself in that situation.
And it was well written, and it was very well edited. I'll give you that, and well paced. All of those things.
Locke should have been called Drive. Yeah, it's way better than that goddamn movie. Don't get me started on Nicholas Refn.
The film Drive. You guys don't like that movie?
Fucking can't stand it.
Anyway, we're not talking about that right now. Have you seen Room?
Yes.
Okay, I liked this movie. It's okay.
Okay. This is what I have to say about the movie. The first act, I despised it. It was just dealing with a woman and his annoying little shit child screaming and acting like just, I can understand why, but it's not entertaining for me. It was just obnoxious. When it come to the main aspect of the movie, where when they try to make their escape, from that point until when it was resolved, that was just pure movie magic at its finest. Okay, when everything gets settled in, and when they're dealing with the aftermath till the very end. Thank you, Danny C. The Room is better than Room. When it came to dealing with the aftermath to the very end of the movie, it lost me again. It just became boring.
Yeah.
They had something going with that second act, but when they conclude the second act and move on to the third act, it lost me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I liked that they kept it to that kind of one location for most of the movie. It is kind of a depressing movie right up until the end, though. Yeah, I can't really say that much about it. Brie Larson's in it, right? She's a star.
Boy, you are fine as hell, honey. She can make me go Marvel with her Captain looks. God damn, she's fine. She's
I think
also
that she probably does more acting in that movie than in that whole Captain Marvel trailer. That was like a huge thing, right? Is that she
that's
wasn't
called a trailer.
just being cold. Yeah, I know they cut that together. We don't actually know what that film's gonna really be like, but yeah, I can't really speak much about Brie Larson, to be honest. I haven't seen like all of her movies, but I am looking forward to Captain Marvel quite a bit. You guys know I am a nerd. Like I'm out here talking about indie movies, but like I don't see this debate, like this line where it's like you have to like fucking indie movies and hate superhero movies or
This
vice
is,
versa. Like I don't get that. Like if you like, I'm glad that you like movies. No matter which type of movie you want to watch, I'm so happy. Go watch it.
but that's how the overly ridiculous A24 fucknuts are. They really are. I've seen it,
Yeah,
and it's despicable.
again, that's the fans though, not the film. So yeah, like let's talk about
Oh
that
no,
then. The fans, but
oh
the
no, but still,
films
like
do
how they
what they
went
want.
after Angry Joe for his review of Hereditary. I was
Yeah,
just like,
that's stupid. Just let him not like him the movie. He's Angry Joe. Like whatever.
I'm just like, please come after me. You be making my nipples erect. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. are
But
they
yeah,
are they are they erect right now being on my show?
well, I can cut a 2x4 with it. Measure twice, cut once.
Good, good. All
Yeah,
right, so
room was just. Eh.
I took that other movie off of the OK films. We're gonna put in great films for you, Rami, but that's gonna be it for the OK film section. We had two films in there. This one is kind of all me. We're talking films that are just weird enough for this guy.
Mm.
I'm a dude that likes my weird movies. There's some movies that I've seen that were some of my favorites that most people couldn't even look at for like 2 seconds. For a long time, I was like really obsessed with the movie Holy Mountain by Jodorowsky. Have you ever seen that movie?
Never even heard
That
of it.
dude, that's oh, I'm gonna send you a link. You gotta
Oh,
watch that. But yeah, like speaking of weird movies. All right, so there are going to be three films in this category. This category again is films that are just enough, just weird enough for this dude right here. Killing of a Sacred Deer. I really love this movie. Tons of symbolism in this movie, so that's
oh
why
yeah,
Rome
my
is
favorite
going to
type of
be a
film.
huge fan. Yeah, directed by Yargos Lanthimos, Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman,
Was he the same guy who did the Lobster?
Barry Kogan. I think he is. Yeah, Sonny Soljic, who's in that new what's that movie called? The early '90s or whatever the fuck.
Mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen that. I'm actually looking forward to
I
that
gotta check that out
because
soon.
hey, I'm a guy. I'm a kid. I'm a guy who grew up in the '90s. So
But yeah, the reasons why I love Killing of a Sacred Deer, obviously the thematic depth. One thing that we were talking about earlier, like there's so much symbolism going on in this movie, and like so many ways that you can read it. But even if this movie was more face value and it wasn't just so symbolic, I think I still would have loved it. Just from like the sheer cinematography in this movie, the tone of this movie, the way that the mood is set, and it just locks you in. Like I couldn't turn this movie off. I could not. Like if the phone rang and that like lock scenario was happening and that girl's calling me, I'm having your baby. I'd be like, nope. First, I'm gonna finish this movie and then I'll come down. That's how much I enjoyed this movie. That's how much the tone of this movie and especially the performance by Barry Kogan, I think his name is, the kid who is like creepy as hell in this movie. I haven't seen him in much else
supposedly.
but I loved him, man. I just loved pretty much everything about this movie. Like I found it very, very unique, especially like the way that that kid talked. It was so strange, and the movie just made you feel creeped out, and it was strange as hell. And yeah, I put this movie up there with like the greats, like There Will Be Blood, Killing of a Sacred Deer. They're on the same shelf.
Ugh.
All right, what do you think of this movie, dude?
About a cardiac surgeon who befriends a teenage boy. And then when he introduces to his family, things get a little weird, I guess you could say, per se. This movie annoyed the fuck out of me. This movie bore me with this pretentious bullshit. This is the type of shit I hate, especially from A24. I hate films like that, similar to Annihilation and a couple other films that I released this year. I hate these types of movies. I find them pretentious. People think they're thought-provoking, ambitious. I think they're pretentious, boring, and just completely wasted. I see this shit. I'm just like, well, that was 2 hours wasted my time. I wish I did get that phone call saying someone's having my baby. Couldn't stand it. I could not stand this movie. These are the type of films that I can't stand. And I remember some people would be like, well, this movie isn't made for you, Jerome. And this is what I said. Okay, so Ice Age 5, that movie's made for 4-year-old retards. So do I have to be a 4-year-old retard to enjoy this movie? Or Twilight, that's made towards the teen boppers. Do I have to be a teen bopper to enjoy Twilight? Need I say more? Anybody who uses that defense is a fucking idiot. They really are. I'm sorry. You say, oh, it's not made, it's made for the demographic, so you're aiming it towards the lowest common denominator. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, fair enough. I loved it though.
I know you did, but I'm not the type of people who are like, oh yeah, well Jerry, he liked the Witch, therefore I'm gonna say, you know what, fuck you, you geek, you don't know shit about that. No, anybody who does,
weird, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like hell, Adam, I love Adam Daly. He always busts my balls about A24, but he does it in a funny, smart-ass, amusing way. Okay,
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a funny asshole and an effing asshole.
That is true. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And when it's kind of just like, when you're on YouTube and stuff like that, you are kind of, in a way, playing a bit of a character and shit like that, too. So,
Well, yeah. Like, if people actually talk to me off camera, this is not how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not.
You're less angry?
Oh, okay, think of me as the Hulk version, off camera, and Bruce Banner. Except nowhere near as smart.
This is the Hulk version. When you get in front of the camera, you Hulk out. I like that. That's legit. All right, let's get back into some of these A24 movies. Everybody who's just jumping on this live stream now, if you haven't been here the whole time, we're talking about A24, the best studio in the world. And the next movie that we are covering is Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin, starring Scarlett Johansson. I love this fucking movie. I love this movie. Another movie that's getting like a 12 out of 10 from this guy. I love it.
Look at the audience rating.
I love it. I don't even care. What is it?
I do, because it perfectly explains how how these types of films are made for that particular denominator. It does. Under the Skin. 3 things happened in this movie. Scarlett Johansson drives a van. Scarlett Johansson tries to seduce random strangers that never happens, and it ends up it's fucking weird. Scarlett Johansson stares at herself, especially in a mirror, and just walks. There's your movie, folks. There you go. That's 95% of the entire film.
This movie's fucking great. The on-location shooting, the fact that they utilized mostly practical effects in this movie, the fact that there was so much restraint shown with the way that the story is told in this film. That's my favorite thing about this movie. This is like a whole out there sci-fi type of plot, but everything is just held back enough that you can piece it all together yourself. At no point in this movie is there some stupid exposition scene where like some cop pulls up and he's like, oh, Scarlett Johansson, and she's a fucking alien and she's going around killing people. She killed a baby. Like, that's the craziest stuff, you know? Like, I hate it when movies do that. I hate it when movies spoon feed you and they like sum up the movie and tell it to you. Death Proof is a perfect example of this. Quentin Tarantino usually makes a good film, but that film has exactly that problem. It has that scene where someone comes and he's like, oh yeah, this guy can't get hard without killing people with his car. Like, I hate stuff like that, and that's why I love this movie. I loved the restraint with the storytelling. I loved the practical effects, and I love the on-location shooting. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about this movie is that the way that they got such like realistic performances is that some of the actors in this movie aren't even actors, and they didn't even know that they were going to be in a movie. Yeah, they had them sign the releases after. They basically had Scarlett Johansson drive around in a car and try to pick up dudes in Scotland who have no idea who Scarlett Johansson is, apparently. And they're in Scotland, so they don't. I don't know. Anyways, I'd be like, sure, ScarJo, like, let's go meet Captain America and fucking hang out. That sounds like a good time. But yeah, I love this movie a lot. Definitely one of my favorite in the sci-fi genre. This isn't even the first time I've talked about this movie on my channel. I love it so much. I'll have to do a full review of it eventually.
I gave it a 2 out of 10. It was on my worst of the year list.
2 out of 10. Anything else on that? Can you go? Do you want to go into detail a little bit more? Why you didn't like it?
The only interesting value I can say about this movie is the final 5 minutes, because something actually happens. This is one of the most boring movies I have.
There's a murder of an entire family like halfway through.
It was boring. It's just like, oh, I'm going to try to seduce her. Oh, I'm just going to sink in and blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, why am I wasting my time with this shit?
Well, you know what, dude? It's just that, like, not everybody is intellectual enough to understand.
Yeah. Hey, I want my 6th grade spelling bee, goddammit.
Speaking of intellectual movies that real film fans should appreciate, the best film that A24 has ever put out, possibly the best film in history, The Witch.
Glasses are coming off. Here we go.
I'm a guy. Okay, all right. Let me get. Okay, you know what? You can go first. You can go first.
Wow. This film was pure torture to sit through. Anna Taylor-Joy, I don't see the redeeming value in her. She bores me worse than staring at a clock. This movie has one of the most unintentional, hilarious scenes I have ever seen in my life. It involves the father trying to protect his family from a goat, to where he kills him by headbutting him into a pile of logs, and they go tumbling all over him like a Three Stooges act. I had to pause the movie because I was dying laughing. And little to nothing happens. Nothing happens in this movie. I loved it when I saw it the second time. It was called Gareth Evans' Apostle. Thank you very much. That movie had scares. That movie had tension. That movie had amazing situations too. You don't know what was going to happen next. This movie was a chore. It was not entertaining. It was a complete bore. And I can understand why, because according to the results, many people walked out of this movie from being shit-faced bored with this.
Well, that's interesting because I love this movie, honestly. This movie is directed by Roger Eggers. I don't know if he's done a whole shitload of films. He doesn't have like that crazy a filmography, but that's the thing about my girlfriend sneaking up on me with the dog. Hopefully she'll get me some fresh tea. But that's one thing about A24 is that they're like giving a lot of these smaller directors a real opportunity. We gotta bring the dogs in here. A real opportunity to get a film out there and get a bit of a budget in some cases. There's 2 dogs now. Okay.
You got a handful.
So yeah, so The Witch. The reason why I love this movie, the natural lighting is definitely one part of it. Most of this film was shot entirely with natural lighting, the use of like candles and shooting during the day and using natural light. That's an incredible feat. Like anyone who's ever tried to even shoot a YouTube video knows how hard that would be when you're trying to like shoot with candles and get enough light. Like just in this room, I've got like a light right above my head. I've got a light over here. I've got a light behind me. So you could imagine like the struggle it would take to try to put that all together. Another possible reason why I might have such a personal connection with this film, and I didn't even know this when I was watching it, they wanted to film this movie in Rhode Island, which is kind of where it's set, I believe, but they couldn't get basically the tax write-offs, the tax incentives to do it. This film was shot in Canada. This was shot in Kiosk, Ontario, which is about a 4-hour drive from where I am right now in Toronto. So if I wanted to, I could probably go and find that goat and See how the goat's
Good. I'm
doing.
gonna make some pork chops out of his ass.
Yeah, that might make a very interesting video. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I'll go get that goat and make some. Well, they wouldn't be. They'd be goat chops, I guess, wouldn't they?
I saw a great movie that was used natural lighting. It's called The Revenant. Thank you. That movie
Yeah.
did it way better.
Well, fair enough.
And the characters, oh my god, they drove me fucking batshit crazy.
Well,
Especially the twins. I hated that. I wanted every character to die. That's how much I hated every character in this movie.
And they all do, so you should like it.
Yeah, but it was done in such. Oh yeah, and another thing that A24 is known for is the abrupt ending to where it goes black screen. I'm just like lame. And what the fuck is so scary about this movie? I was not scared in the slightest. And people think, oh, it's so terrifying. I'm just like, no.
Satan, man. Satan's scary, man.
Not in this movie. I seen him scarier in Mr. Pickles.
I've seen him scarier in Mr. Pickles. It's possible that I really loved this movie as well because of my like religious upbringing and stuff like that. Like I was raised Mormon and ended up like totally rejecting that and like becoming an atheist and all this. So when they're going on about all this religious stuff, I probably had a better idea what the hell they were talking about than most people. That might have been another reason why I had a little bit more appreciation for this movie. But yeah, like just the story in this movie is something I really enjoyed. The horror scenes in this movie, the effects, like with the crow that's picking at the woman, and just the effects on the goat or on the witch, and just like the ghostly floating effects at the end. I liked all that stuff quite a bit. Definitely appreciated the natural light, the fact that the filmmakers went through the trouble to try to create something like that. Like was definitely giving this film points for me. So The Witch is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Like I would probably put this right after The Shining.
This is on my top 3 worst horror films of the decade.
Totally fair. All right. So let's get into the final category here. And guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys watching my live streams. I don't do live streams that awesome. I mean, that awesome.
Yeah, you do.
I don't do them that awesome, and I don't do them that often. But when we have Jerome on here to bring a fresh perspective and some fresh energy, we can do a pretty good one, I think. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We're going to get into the last category here, and we're going to give Romy a slot, I guess, for on the great film section. I guess for the disaster artist.
The Disaster Artist, based the Disaster Artist, based off the novel, which goes in detail of the making of The Room, the greatest, worst movie of all time by Tommy Wiseau. Now, this was starring and directed by James Franco, who got fucking robbed of his Oscar nomination.
I can't believe he didn't get a nomination for this.
Then again, it's pretty pathetic because the Oscars, they can give their own award to a pedophile who will leave the country and go to, remember Roman Polanski? They gave it to him.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they'll give it to him, and he gets a standing ovation. But no, we're not going to give it a nomination to James Franco.
Yeah, or they'll accidentally give the wrong movie Best Picture for a second and then take it back.
I call them the DOS, the dumb old fucks. But
yeah, dude, your friggin' awards show is gonna be 10 times more legitimate than the fucking Oscars.
Yeah, because we're not
honestly,
the same.
Guys.
We're not like the WWE, the same old shit. But if you've never seen The Room, argument can be made that it's the worst movie ever made, but it is so bad you have to see it to believe it because, oh my God, it is funny. I mean, there's reasons why people still talk about this movie to date and to where it's like one of the biggest guilty pleasures ever because of how ridiculous it is. And the movie explores that. And it's played by the other character, Greg Sestero, is played by James Franco's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And these two were fantastic. And James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, I was watching Tommy Wiseau and not James Franco.
So let me ask you something about this movie, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this movie would have been better had Franco cast real actors and not just his friends?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because him and his friends knew the source material and they knew what kind of film they were making.
Okay.
It's because it was written by the guys who did The Fault in Our Stars, which is one of my favorite romance films out. These two guys are geniuses as writers. And they go into depth over everything, how they met, how they make the movie, the conflicts, getting this movie made. And Tommy Wiseau is an enigma of himself. It is so interesting. It is so funny. This movie is hysterical. And it's a learning experience. Because it's not forcing. It's not like, oh, if you're an upcoming filmmaker, you like this, and we're gonna shove it down your throat like La La Land did. But the thing with this movie, it kind of takes you on this journey, and it was just so beautiful to watch. And it's just it leaves you with just a big smile, like, wow, that was amazing. And it has one of the best post-credit sequence I've ever seen. Yeah, it was on my 10 best films of the year list. It has a story, it has concept. Sorry, Owen. It has concept, it has characters, it has great conflict, and there is I won't say a message, but there is a stride going for it, unlike most A24 films, which I hate.
I should probably know this, but did Franco direct this as well as star?
James Franco, he starred and he directed it.
How did he not get a nomination for this?
I don't know.
That's
and I know
insane.
Seth Gordon and Evan Goldberg, they were also behind this movie as well. And those two guys are great when it comes to comedies.
Well, I liked this movie a lot too, man. I really enjoyed the pace of this movie. That was one thing that I was like, damn, they nailed it. Like the way that things progress, you can't get bored watching this movie.
No.
Like just they're like all of a sudden they're meeting, and then like the next second they're fighting in the diner and they're doing their lines, and then like boom, the next second they're like gone to the whole next city, like and then like the next second, okay, they're making the movie, and the next second the movie's out. Like there was no time to be like, okay, I'm getting bored with this movie. Just like the pace is just like boom, 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 new environment, new setting, which is probably a bit of what the feeling of actually making this movie was like. It was like, let's get the conception of it, and then before we even have that, we're already done the movie, right?
And the thing with Tommy Wiseau is like, yeah, he made a shit movie, but he accomplished his dream.
Yeah, he did.
Those two, they met. They wanted to make their dreams. And Greg Sestero was doing one for himself, and Tommy Wiseau obviously being famous for The Room of itself.
Yeah.
And and they wanted to do big things, and they're remembered because of this movie for better or worse. But they accomplished what they aimed for.
Yeah, and I did like this movie a lot. To be honest, now I'm glad. Now I'm pretty glad that we put it on the best list here as far as A24 films.
Me, I think it is the best A24 film.
You be quiet. It's up there. The Witch is the best A24 film.
The Pretentious Bitch, more like it.
But this is one that I did like. If I had any criticism of this movie, I just think like a lot of James Franco movies, if he casts some other actors in it and not just the people that he works with all the time, I think that the movie could have been a bit better. I think that like some of his movies tend to suffer because you just have to have like his brother and Seth Rogen in it every single time, right? And like that's all well and good, but it would be nice to maybe see some other actors in there. Like maybe you could have, instead of that, maybe you get Kevin Smith in there or something. He's not doing anything. God knows he can't direct a movie, so someone should at least let him be in one. But I love you, Kevin Smith. I like your YouTube channel more than your movies. But,
yeah, same here. All I gotta say is this: Cop Out.
What's a cop out?
The movie Cop Out with Bruce Willis.
Oh, I've never seen. I'll never see that.
Awful.
Okay, so this is one that I'm just gonna have to talk about for a bit because, Romy, you really let us down. You haven't seen every movie in the world, dude. Come on, you haven't seen Good Time.
I tried to find the movie Good Time. I looked everywhere. I could not find it.
All right, this movie is excellent. Robert Pattinson. Turns out that dude can act.
The Rover. That's another A24 where he was great in.
He's in that too, eh? Damn. Anyways, he's friggin' amazing in this movie. Who knew? This movie is directed by the Safdie brothers. They haven't had, again, another couple of indie directors that haven't had a lot of money thrown their way to do a project. and someone gave them some money to make Good Time, and they made one hell of a movie. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Honestly, I can't talk any shit about this movie. And then one of the directors, one of the Safdie brothers, is actually in the movie. So he plays Robert Pattinson's kind of like disabled brother. It's not exactly clear like if he's like a little slow basically, but what exactly is going on with him. But yeah, again, like kind of a similar thing with a Disaster Artist, but in like a more dramatic sense. The way that this movie is paced, this is a kinetically paced movie. This movie is fast as hell, going from different situation to different situation, and kind of similar to Locke, where it's building up all of these situations that like someone has to deal with, and you're kind of wondering like, how the hell is this guy going to deal with all of this? Like, how is this actually going to go down in the end? And it just keeps getting like crazier and crazier. I don't want to spoil too much. I do hope that you guys actually will go out and watch this movie. But yeah, I just absolutely love this film. I thought that the lighting in this movie and the environments they shoot in were all incredibly dynamic. I don't think I've seen very many movies that are lit quite like this. That kind of leads into a bit of a criticism because sometimes it doesn't make like any sense whatsoever, the lighting. Like when every environment in your movie is lit like the club, with like a bunch of fluorescent lighting and stuff, it can be a bit strange. But just overall, the whole experience of watching this movie, it really draws you in. It's definitely one that had me on the edge of my seat. And another movie that, like Rami obviously loves, this movie has some very in-depth themes as well. Basically, kind of about crime and punishment and just kind of judging criminals. Basically, at the end of this movie, something that I thought was very cleverly done. You've been following Robert Pattinson's character this entire time. You've been seeing all the dumb shit decisions that he's making. And at the end, he's in. Oh, I guess I would be spoiling it. I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, okay,
In
so
the end,
in the end, there's a scene that you see his eyes, and then you don't, and then you see his eyes, and then you don't, and he's staring right at the camera, right? So it's kind of like drawing you into his world, and he's looking at you in the eyes, and he's basically saying like, can you judge me? Like, would you be better in this situation, or would you have done like some of the same dumb shit that I did, right? And I thought that that was very interesting and a bit of a different twist on a lot of crime films. So yeah, this was one that I really loved. Again, excellent cinematography, excellent lighting, excellent acting by Pattinson, excellent direction by the Safdie brothers. I highly recommend this film.
I try to find it. I looked everywhere.
I had it at the library and on Netflix. It's on Canadian fucking Netflix. It's not on American
It's
Netflix.
on Canadian Netflix, but not American Netflix.
Oh, dude. You got to come visit me then. What? You're so sad about that idea. Anyways, you want to get into the last film here, dude?
What is the last film?
It's one of the best. We're talking about Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. Ooh. Okay.
You can take this one first.
Ex Machina. I like this movie a lot, unlike his follow-up. I'm not even going to get into that.
Annihilation. We will do a whole different stream on that.
Oh, fucking hate that movie. Now, Ex Machina, which I believe Alicia Vikander should have won the Oscar for, not for the other movie.
Is that how you really say her name? Or are you saying it really weird?
I think I'm saying it really weird.
I say Alicia Vikander. Anyways, go ahead.
It's not making sense. By the way, man, I was watching this. I was just thinking to myself, man, I don't care if I do get tasered. That's an AI with fuck.
I don't care if I do get locked in the building.
Now, this movie pretty much it's got some sci-fi elements where it shows the the sci-fi visual effects which look fantastic. It shows the like a timeline or like looking through like a time trial of the human condition and where it can proceed. And that's what this movie excels so much. It's basically a guy who gets called into work to give or to examine and review Alicia Vikander, if that's how you pronounce it, to where because she thinks she's human. But he's trying to figure out like a diagnosis if it's true or not, and things can escalate from there. And you also got what's the name of the actor who plays the creator, the guy who built the robot or the AI?
Oh, I'll look it up.
Oscar Isaac, was it Oscar
Oscar
Isaac?
Isaac. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so, dude. He's so weird and different in that movie, but I think it is.
he's wearing different, but you can understand why he's wearing different because he's all about the future of making these AIs.
Yeah, it is Oscar Isaac. It's he's Poe as well, isn't he?
Um, yes, and this is what happens, and sometimes that can backfire when you try to play God. If you think about it, very good, very interesting concept, beautiful visual effects, especially on Alicia Vikander. That was just amazing, and she steals the movie. She was my pick for Best Supporting Actress of the Year. And she should have won that. She should have been nominated and won for that. Not that Danish girl bullshit. That Oscar bait, boring, pretentious garbage. No, this film, at least this has a meaning. At least this has a theme to it.
She's even pretty good in that very average Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's like the only thing that was good about that shit. But with this, I was just like, wow, you can see where both sides are coming from. And you're trying to think, is she telling the truth? Or is she blowing smoke up this guy's ass? You know? And it leaves you thinking, but not like, oh, you need to think in order to get this movie. No, it presents itself and it gives you the value, but it leaves you thinking in the long run, I wonder if. And that's why it works so well.
Yeah. Before I get any deeper into this, there's some people in the comments that just want us to talk a little bit more about Alex Garland's filmography. 28 Days Later.
Love 28 Days Later.
That's a pretty fun movie. And what about Dread? I like that movie a lot. There's so many fans of that movie. I don't understand how there's so many fans of that movie that didn't go see it because it bombed.
I saw this. Okay, no problem, C.A. Cougar. I saw this in the IMAX theater because remember the trailers. I was like, it didn't look very good, and when I went to saw it, I was like, this is a fucking badass flick, man. It resembled a lot of the Raid Redemption because it came out at the exact same time, but it was made a little bit before
That's
then.
Not a bad thing.
But that wasn't a bad thing, and they got the character done right. You know, and it was a not only an awesome badass film, it was a beautifully artistic. Yeah, I can use that word, an artistic film.
Yeah, and it was smart to and it was really smart to not make him like the central thing of the movie, right? To bring the girl in there and have it really kind of focus on her and her kind of struggle. Like that was just so that like you're right for like a movie that's about like people smoking meth and getting thrown off balconies and just like obliterated by machine guns. It's a pretty smart movie.
Not only that, Carl Urban, he refused to do it because he's one of the biggest Judge Dredd comic book lovers out there. He refused to do this movie if he had to take off the helmet during the scenes because in the comics, he never took off the helmet.
He wouldn't take off his helmet. It's like a betrayal of the character type of thing.
Exactly. Right? And we're not going to go into that Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, back to Ex Machina here. This is one other than Moonlight, Hereditary, and I guess some other films like that. This is one of the most critically acclaimed films of anything that A24 has put out, and it's also one of the most financially successful.
I think it's one of them. Yeah,
it is one of them. This movie had, like, when you're looking at the effects in this movie only cost $15 million.
That makes you wonder, why is it that some of these other films that are released, like look at Upgrade, that cost $5 million, or District 9, one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time, $30 million.
Yeah, why do you need $300 million to make a movie? I just don't get it. Like, so this movie made $37 million on that $15 million budget. It's a pretty big financial success for a studio that isn't Marvel. So so they can be putting out movies like this and making a bit of money on them. I'm just glad that people actually went out and saw this movie. I'm glad that critics got out there and informed people about this movie. And that's what we're doing here. We're letting y'all know that fucking Ex Machina, go see that movie.
Very good.
Hell of a performance by Oscar Isaac, as we said. Hell of a performance by Alicia Vikander. She disappears into this role. She's a robot.
She's the standout of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, dude. The story is amazing. The script is amazing. This is one of those constrained environment movies that doesn't even feel it. You don't feel it at all. Like it's entirely pretty much, other than like one or two scenes, this entire movie takes place inside of like one compound out in the woods. And does that bother you in this movie? Like with Locke, I got pretty bored sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a car.
This is what I have to say.
With this,
there is concept, but in the end, it all depends on execution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why I did not like Boyhood.
Oh, fuck Boyhood.
Thank you. It was 12. It was 12 years in the making. I'm just like, you know what? If it wasn't for Ethan Hawke's character, I would have flat out hated this fucking movie. He was the best character in the movie. I loved Ethan Hawke in it. Fuck the rest of the movie. It's about a kid who grows up to become a hipster douchebag photographer. Fuck off.
Yeah. Anything else on Ex Machina, man?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. That's sick, we both love it.
The ending, it makes you wonder. Oh shit!
It's an intense ending.
Yeah, because it's like, oh my gosh, she's part of everyday life now. It makes you wonder. I wonder who else is an AI in disguise. I guess.
Let me ask you something about this movie. So out of all the characters, who did you identify and empathize with the most?
The main character, you can identify with him the most because of the situation that he's put in, and you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to follow his boss? Is he going to, listen to the AI character? The one that I empathize with is probably the AI character.
Yeah, me too. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great
character study.
Gleason. That's the dude who's who's the kid in it who gets brought to the compound and stuff like that.
It's a great character study film.
Yeah. It's just an amazing film in general, but I agree with you. I felt the most for Alicia Vikander's character, which is fucked up because she's not even a human; she's an android.
I know.
Like, why do I care so much? It actually is pretty reminiscent of Space Odyssey, and like not to give this movie too much claim, putting it on the shelf with Space Odyssey, but that part where when the AI in Space Odyssey is getting like deconstructed, getting taken apart, all those like bits and bytes are being ripped out, and you're like, damn, like I feel bad for that guy. And it's like, he's a robot. Like, why do I feel bad for him? Same thing with this movie. It's like, why do I care so much about her? And like, she gets out and everything. But yeah, I guess we kind of spoiled this movie. If you guys haven't seen it.
Well, the movie came out. It came out like 2-3 years ago.
Well, we spoiled it to praise it. So Ex Machina is awesome. You should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. Yeah, it's great. Dude, I'm having so much fun on here. I don't want to stop. But we've pretty much covered most of the movies. Are there any more outside of the categories here? Any more A24 films?
Oh yeah, I got a couple more. First of all, I already covered Ghost Story pretty much. It Comes at Night.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's do it. So this is an addendum. It Comes at Night.
No, I called this movie Nothing Comes at Night because little to nothing happens, and guess what the movie resorts to? Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Other than Joel Edgerton is the only thing good about this. Fuck everything else but this movie. There is no monster. It's called It Comes at Night, yet there's nothing that comes after them. It's so misleading. Even the director claimed that this movie is metaphorical bullshit. Next one, Lady Bitch. Another coming of age movie.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I was gonna say Victor's coming out here and saying we gotta talk about Lady Bitch.
This movie drove me mad.
You know what? I heard about this movie. The reason why I skipped this movie is because everyone was saying like, "Oh, it'll make you think about your relationship with your mom, and it'll make you cry."
No. Okay, who the fuck does this? A teenage girl, she gets in an argument with her mom while she's driving a car, and what does she do to evade? She opens the car door, jumps out of the car, and breaks her arm. Who the fuck does that? This movie was made by the queen of the hipsters, Greta Gerwig.
Anything else on her filmography that anyone would know?
I cannot stand Greta Gerwig. And you know what? This movie is so hipsterish that I need to get some testosterone in me. I'm not joking. I hated this movie that much. Gary, you thought I hated it? Gary had it as his number 2 worst film of the year.
Damn.
This movie is nothing but bickering, bitching, moaning, complaining. And people say the stupidest shit and do the stupidest acts possible. How is this movie getting praised? And it's made by the queen of the hipsters, Greta Gerwig. Next one, Hereditary, or as I like to call it, Hereditaint.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one yet either, but I do want to. It seems pretty interesting.
All I'm going to say is this. Lucas and I did an in-depth review from start to finish on why this movie sucks asshole juice through a cocaine straw. And this movie has the worst ending I have ever seen since Nymphomaniac Volume 2.
Wow.
Because this movie is nothing but a build-up to this final act, which is so bad, it looked like it came off of a 3rd grade stage play. And it's over 2 hours long. Dear God. And
a lot of people love this film, dude. I checked it.
There's people that hate it.
I believe you that there's people who hate it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and like a lot of horror, like real huge horror fans love this movie. A podcast that I listen to all the time, shout out on my channel all the time, Last Podcast on the Left. If you guys like horror movies and stuff like that, and listen to stuff about serial killers, go check them out. But they did a whole episode on this movie, and they don't even talk about movies. So I don't know. I have faith in this one. I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know. I got faith in this studio, so I probably believe that.
Oh my! Okay, I have to bring this up. Thank you, OMB. Not only I and Lucas, there were multiple screenings where audiences laughed their ass off at this movie. This movie has one of the most unintentionally hilarious scenes I have seen since The Bye-Bye Man.
Well, maybe I made a good decision of not seeing it so far then, but I don't know, man. I think I'm still.
Oh my God! And Toni Collette, a lot of people are praising her for like Best Actress. Now when she's making these over-the-top, ridiculous, stupid faces, she looks like she's trying to take the biggest lava dump, or she's having the biggest anal orgasm. What the fuck? Who makes those faces?
It's called acting.
That's not acting. That's a clown face. She looks like the Scream face. I shit you not. I'm just like, that's not acting. That's ridiculous.
Romy, just because you don't have the intellectual depth to appreciate a performance of that magnitude.
But you don't understand the symbolism and the deep underlying message.
Yeah, thank you. You're starting to understand. You're starting to become a real film fan, and that's why I appreciate having you on the channel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
you're starting to get into really good movies and not that the trash out there, like those Batmans.
If you want, Batman's. Dark Knight. 6 out of 5.
Oh yeah, that film's not great at all.
No, it's not. It's awful. Now
I'm wearing hockey pants.
Hey, you know what? You know someone said about The Dark Knight, and this made me laugh. Tom Cruise's ex-girlfriend, Katie Holmes, was in the first one. Some people said that she should have been. This was bad but funny. Some people said she should have been in the second movie so they could see her blow up instead of chilling.
No. That's brutal. That is pretty funny though.
But thank you. The entire trilogy is fucking amazing. Absolutely, it's one of my favorite trilogies ever. If you want to see a great horror film, A Quiet Place or Apostle.
Oh, I've got A Quiet Place sitting out there, and I'm going to probably watch it tomorrow. My
favorite horror film in years. Love it.
I'm going to check it out. All right, dude. Well, I think that we got a lot of them in here, and this was a really awesome video. We've been live here for over an hour, so I think we're going to wrap it up. This isn't Flicks with the Dicks, where we go for 3 hours.
Well,
this is just two dicks talking for 1 hour. So
speaking of that. You will
Yeah.
be on the next, not this episode, but the next episode after.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I knew that we were
The
going to do it soon.
Battle of the
Awesome. Dude, I'm
Jareds.
excited for that. That's awesome. Yeah, let me know what the actual that's going to be 2 weeks from now then, yeah? This is
We
the
will
first
have
time
this.
this is an announcement for me even. He's coming on here and dropping bombs.
Yes, the Battle of the Jareds.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Jared Buckingdale, Jared Ross, and Gary's Puddin, Jared Poirier. They're going to be going up in 3 games. Film Jeopardy, Survey Says, and
Love it.
Stump the Brady Boo.
Love
We
it.
will
Love it.
see how they will do. And all of the other A24 films I like, The Rover,
Haven't seen it.
The Spectacular now, terrific romance film. Free Fire, so much fun.
Missed that one too.
Damn. Did we go the other ones? Oh, Ex Machina.
We did that one.
Yep, we got the other ones. So yeah,
Got the rest.
those are the ones that I actually praised.
Yeah. We agree on
Is it
some of these, man. Like we're both reasonable dudes here.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I may not like A24, but they're nothing like Happy Madison.
Oh, there are worse. There are many, many bad studios in the world.
No, they are. I called you. They're from Satan's asshole. Adam Sandler's the Grim Reaper, and Dennis Douchebag is Satan. By the way, I'm still waiting to beat his ass in a cage.
It's all probably true.
No, it is true. I've witnessed it. It's horrifying. Mr. Jared Poirier.
Yeah, so to sum it all up, I think that A24 is an excellent studio. They are putting some money and some advertising and all of that type of studio power behind some movies that are pretty weird, pretty out there, but movies nonetheless that I think a lot of people need to see, and movies that offer something different from the regular schlock that goes in and out of the grindhouse of the theater every day. So these movies stand out. They're giving indie directors a bit of an opportunity to show their chops and giving them a bit of money to make some films. And yeah, there's some out there. Like I said, we had categories in here like movies that are too weird and movies that are shit. And there are some with every studio there are. But there are some really great films here, and ones that I love, ones that Romy loves, and that's why I wanted to do this video. And I think that us coming on here really got a lot of the bullshit out of the way, where people kind of talk about the fans, or they talk about the kind of advertising and not the films themselves. So I just wanted to talk about the movies and let the movies speak for themselves. And some of those movies are like, I suck, I'm a shitty movie. But some of those movies are fucking great. So yeah, just to sum up some of the great ones that I want to recommend for you guys. Rami, I'll let you do this too, but if you could recommend 3. The Witch, Ex Machina, good time. Go watch them. Go.
Locke, The Disaster Artist, The Spectacular now.
All right, and there you go. And yeah, so next coming up things on the Rami world, we got Flicks with the Dicks next week. What are you guys doing on Flicks next week? Or tomorrow? That's fucking tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. We're going to have LC Screen Talk, LC Jr.
Oh, great. Yeah, Larry's coming on. Good.
Awesome. I'm going to be doing the PDCA drinking game. I got a couple of movie reviews, couple of games to play since we have LC Screen Talk talking.
Dude,
and
please tell me you're going to get him to do a round of Smash or Pass.
Smash or Pass?
So he did a thing for his birthday or something, or like because he got a certain level of subscribers or something on his channel, where he did Smash or Pass. So he had everybody like suggest all these different guys and chicks, and he like did like Smash or Pass. Yeah, dude, you got to do it. Like he'll love it.
You know what? Okay,
I'm gonna get on and I'll send you like some suggestions.
Oh shit.
Yeah, make sure you do that. So and then
all they would say Chris Hemsworth, he'd be like, game over.
Yeah. Oh, I already threw Chris Hemsworth at him. I think he smashed 3 times.
Yeah, and that was within the first hour.
Yeah, so definitely do that. And then the week after that, it's Battle of the Jareds.
Hopefully. Well, I gotta see how Gary's doing, because
we gotta see how. Yeah. I'm down. I'm with it. I can do it. Yeah. So for my channel, guys, we had an excellent guest named Jerome Latimer. So that one was pretty fun. Other stuff that I've got coming up right now, I started getting pretty meta with the videos. I did a video how to review movies,
That's a great video, by the
I'm
way.
glad you enjoyed it, man. That one was one that was pretty academic, but pretty fun to put together.
That hipster should take notes.
You should take notes if you.
No, that hipster should take notes.
Oh, that hipster, yeah.
That guy pissed me off, man.
Oh, that's what the fuck's that dude? Patrick Willems or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I've got that one, and I've got a video coming up with a good friend of mine, Ray, who's got a channel up on YouTube doing the 100-year challenge. We're not going to talk about movie-related stuff. We're just going to talk about YouTube. So that's going to be what is a YouTube video. Did that one. Actually, it's already recorded. It's in the bank. I'm just editing it up. So I'll probably have that one out to you guys soon. And yeah, then a bit of an appearance on Flicks. So looking forward to all of that type of stuff. Hopefully you guys will come and watch that in the future. Definitely looking forward to having Rami back again. Maybe next time we could even have you and Jer Bear or Gare Bear on here at the same time, eh?
All we're gonna do is fighting like a couple. That's all we're gonna be doing.
I can shut you guys down though. I'm the moderator. So
I know.
If you guys get carried out, like when I come on Flicks, I just gotta let you guys fight. But when you're on my fucking channel, I need to put an end to that shit.
No, you know what he's gonna do? He's not gonna fight. He's gonna be like, he's my Gary.
Yeah, he's just gonna swoon. But yeah, guys, appreciate you all watching this video so much. Look forward to more live streams, more videos coming soon. I try to get as many videos out to you guys and just not have a life in the real world and just do videos. So I'll just keep sending them your way. But yeah, Romy, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I honestly really appreciate it. It was excellent having you guys on. And to the audience out there, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time.